What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Peacock Brothers board review, and today we have got the Hyperlite Pleasure. This model here is the 156. I'm going to be giving you my review on it today. I'm going to give you a few little tips and pointers of why this board is so great and so much fun on the water. So first impressions of this board, it feels rather light. That's one thing that I noticed when I first jumped onto it. When you're spinning on and spinning out on certain rails or doing those bigger tricks on the kickers, to have that lightness in the board can really make the difference. So for me, that was big plus points was on the weight. That lightness in the weight comes from the Woodlight core that Hyperlite are running on these boards. Definitely one of those main things that I picked up on, and it really does make a difference. You can see when we hold the board up, we've got that abrupt continuous rocker, and what that means is as you get onto the rails and you're really trying to press up, you get a nice nose press, you get some nice tail presses, and it also gives you a good bit of pop on the water. This being one of Hyperlite's most flexy boards, you can really feel when you're riding on the rails how much that board allows you to press up, and it actually gives you quite a nice spring back when you come off the end of the rail. The other great thing about the abrupt continuous rocker is you really feel the speed on the water. When you're riding this board around, you can definitely feel how fast it feels, and when you're landing off those features, it's such a nice feeling to not be bogged down by your board. As we turn to the base of the board, you can see this fully beveled edge that runs all the way around the perimeter of the board. That can really save you when it comes to catching those edges or when you're riding the rails. Any help you can get there is always a massive help. So one thing you can notice as well is as we look at the board this way, you have this concave in the tip and tail. And what that means is it really helps you lock onto the pipe rails. When you're rail riding in the parks now, there tends to be a lot of the pipe rails, and this board really helps you feel like you're locking in on it. If you're on a nose press or a tail press, having that concave nose and a tip and tail really does make a difference to make you feel locked in and save you slipping out on those rails. Also, as we look to the base of the board, we can see these mid-body channels. And what these do is they give you a nice bit of traction through the water, but actually allowing you to have a bit more playfulness in the tip and tail. This is super fun when you're pressing around on the water or doing some surface tricks. Not only can you be locked in here, but then you still have that bit of freedom in the tip and tail. I found when I was doing air tricks that these channels are actually really nice to lock you in on your edge and give you that nice release out of the water that you're looking for. As we come back to the top of the board, you can see it has these grab rails running along the outside. And the key thing about that is that it adds rigidity to the middle part of the board, which is going to make it feel much more stable under your feet and really help you when you're coming down off those heavy kicker landings. The board comes in a 144, 148, 152 and a 156. Personally, I've been riding the 156 and I find that slightly bigger surface area just really helps me when it comes to the big kicker landings, and it makes my riding feel much more stable. So definitely having that higher size option is a really great benefit on this Pleasure. Another key feature for the Pleasure is the design that the guys have worked on here. Keeping it pretty nice and clean. They've got the black main part to the board. They've got a lady in the nude, so rather pleasing to some eyes there. Not mine. My eyes are only pleased by my girlfriend. Other than that, we've got this matte black strip running down the middle, and these little blue highlights here really brings the board to life. And of course, matching the bottom with the bright blue bottom. If you see that on any photos, you know they are riding the Pleasure board. So it's got quite a narrow deck as it runs down the length of the board. That allows you to really transfer your weight from toes to heel side nice and fast. And of course, with that rocker that they have on the board, it really allows you to keep that speed as you're moving through the water. So Hyperlite have opted for quite a skinny stance on this board, which actually is kind of the trend right now. People want to be riding with their feet that little bit closer together, and that can really help you elevate those spins. So when you're trying to spin for the first time, or you're trying to do the bigger spins, to have your feet that little bit closer together can just mean you can spin much faster. So for me, I'm currently riding on that all-in stance, but it definitely helps when I'm doing some big spins. So that's my go-to stance on this board. So the great thing about this nice, simple design is that it really does work with many of the Hyperlite boots. I'm rocking the DEFACTOs on here right now, which work great with it. But of course, it also goes nicely with Alex's distortion boots. That is the team pairing right there. But of course, any other boots in the range will work nicely with this nice, clean design. If you're riding your kickers, you're riding your air tricks, or you want to get a bit more playful on the rails, it really is a great all-rounder. And I would definitely say this is the one to go to if you're checking out the Hyperlite boards. I hope you guys have enjoyed my review of the Hyperlite Pleasure. Make sure you get down to your local dealer, tell them Ryan Peacock sent you, and you want to get your hands on one of these bad boys. My board of choice for 2023. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll see you on the water soon.